Michael, thank you so much for inviting me over to have a chat with you. Really do appreciate it.
Not at all, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much. Something I need to begin really is, how long have you been into photography?
I've been into photography for a very long time, since I was sort of early teens or so. But you know, as a kind of a bit of fun really, nothing too serious. And it started to become a bit more of a passion of mine when I was doing a lot of travelling, which came with the work that I was doing previously. So I used to be a music producer and DJ, and as soon as I started travelling around, I just had this urge to be taking photographs of the things that I was seeing and the places that I was visiting. So it became a lot more of a passion at that point.
You've recently turned professional, haven't you?
Yeah, so in the last sort of 18 months to 2 years or something like that.
I mean, that's a massive leap. There's lots of people who would kind of love to do that, and they've no idea how to go about it. So what triggered you wanting to go professional? How did you achieve it?
Well, I mean, as I said, I've always been into it as a hobby, and I was quite fortunate in that a place that I was working with on a sort of part-time basis before, the Portsmouth Music Hub it was called, recognised that I had an interest in photography and offered me the opportunity to photograph some of their events that they had on theatre events and stuff like that. And it hadn't really occurred to me to even consider doing photography in a professional way, but I thought, you know, I'd give it a go, and what a great thing to be offered, an opportunity to make money doing something you love. So I did a few of them, and my boss kind of said to me, you know, have you ever considered doing this as a profession? And I said, well, no, not really, but it made a lot of sense. It was something that I was very passionate about, that I seemed to be able to do quite a good job of, and so I you know, stepped things up a bit and started to do a lot of learning and a lot of development and a lot of discovery in terms of the way to run a business and how to put all of the pieces into place, as it were. And I had the right kind of support around me from my family and my girlfriend to allow me to do that. And
that's fantastic. I mean, what sort of commissions do you tend to photograph?
I'm focusing mainly on weddings at the moment, just because it seems like it seems like the work is there to be had, that the clients are easy to find, and it's really enjoyable. You know, being a part of somebody's special day and seeing the look on their face when you hand over the photographs. And it's just a really special thing to be able to deliver those images to clients.
It's absolutely brilliant. It's kind of pure, I don't know about you, I find it to be pure adrenaline as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's all go on the day, and it really pays off. It pays dividends, obviously, like I said, when you deliver the files. That's when the true that's when the real reason for what you're doing becomes apparent, because you see the look on people's faces when they've received these images, and it's really special. I'd like to get into more commercial work at some point eventually as well, because I've done some fantastic commercial jobs in my short time being a freelance photographer. And I've got to do some travelling. What sort of jobs a day?
What sort of commissions?
Well, the first big one, which was really special and really exciting, was I went to America. I spent a month in America, and I photographed a race team. I don't know if you've heard of Bonneville Salt Flats.
The Bonneville Salt Flats.
Yeah, so just expanses.
Bonneville motorcycle, as a matter of fact.
Oh, well, yeah, there you go. Yeah, indeed. So miles of flat white salt, basically, searing hot. I spent 3 weeks with the team who was building this race car out of an old. It was an old 34 Chevy, a really old car, and we went to Bonneville for a week. They raced it, they got it through tech inspection, and I was there to photograph the whole thing, and it was just a phenomenal job.
That's a pretty amazing commission to get.
It was. I got lucky.
So you were paid to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it wasn't paid huge amounts of money, but it was a real opportunity.
So it's like pocket money and all expenses found, sort of thing.
Pretty much.
A few quid on the top.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
yeah.
You know, for somebody who's just starting out in photography, that's a dream job. That's a dream job for somebody who's been doing it for
It was one of those jobs where I didn't believe it was going to happen until I got on the aeroplane. So you kind of, and I'm used to having these experiences because, as I said, I used to travel with DJing and stuff like that, and I'd get people saying, "Oh yeah, come and play at our club," and then a week before you're supposed to fly out, it would be cancelled or they wouldn't pay or whatever. So I got myself into this way of thinking where nothing was confirmed until it happened, kind of thing. But yeah, I was on the plane heading to America with my camera kit packed up, and I thought, this is actually happening. And I spent a month away there, and it happened, and it was fantastic.
That is just so super cool. Yeah. So what is your passion when it comes to photography? What is it that lights you up? What do you love to photograph?
My passion is creating beautiful images. So I'm still kind of discovering the genre or the niche in the market that I want to focus on, really. I mean, as I said, at the moment it's weddings, but there are things aside from weddings that I really enjoy photographing. I like working with models and having that kind of being in an environment where everything is set up and everything is orchestrated in a way that allows you to be extremely clean cut with what you're doing. Everything's exactly how you want it. So I like that side of photography where it's
I mean, they're two very different dynamics you've got going on there, aren't they? You've got so the wedding where it's very much documentary, on the run, thinking on your feet, having to do stuff subconsciously without having to think. And then when you're working with something like the models, that's a very disciplined, controlled, creative environment, I guess.
Exactly, and I think it's kind of, that's my creative outlet, not necessarily just working with models, but working with anything which is a bit more orchestrated. Because the weddings, you don't always have the opportunity to be really, really creative with what you're doing, because it's time pressures and there's people asking you to do this and asking you to do that, and it's a hugely rewarding thing to do, but it doesn't necessarily offer the same kind of creative.
It's also a milestone event in somebody's life as well.
Yeah, exactly. Something that people have been dreaming about.
Intrusion and creativity.
Yeah, it's something that people have been looking forward to and dreaming about since the beginning of time, or beginning of their life.
Yeah.
And it's really special to be there, photographing someone's big day. So that is a real love of mine, and I'm a big people person. And
that comes out in your images. You have a very clearly defined style.
Oh, thank you.
It's like you have this lightness of touch. There's this great humanity and reality, particularly in your wedding images. I can see that you're capturing decisive moments.
Yeah, I'm constantly on the lookout for moments when I'm photographing a wedding. So keep an eye on what's happening with the kids and stuff, because they're always doing something funny or interesting or cute. Just having that extra eye sort of wandering, looking for things which are going on, which aren't necessarily the key shots. And that's a big part of what I enjoy about weddings, just looking out for those real moments that are happening.
Absolutely. I don't know about you, but I often find myself getting a bit emotional at times.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them, you can't help being caught up in.
Yeah, there was one wedding that I did this year, and I got to know the couple a bit before I photographed the wedding. The guy's actually taught me how to kite surf now. He's just become a really good friend of mine. So I was emotionally involved, having got to know these people very briefly before I shot their wedding, and I had to hide behind the viewfinder because there was a tear in my eye, and it happens. It's just a hugely emotional moment to share with somebody. So
I've got a lot of friends actually that I met through photographing their wedding, and years later we're still very close friends.
Exactly, and I've kept these really connections with people. Yeah, and it's a lovely part of what I do, meeting people and getting to know them.
Yeah, it's inspiring too.
Yeah, absolutely, very inspiring.
It's inspiring. I mean, speaking of inspiration, so is there anything you find you need to do? We all have those days when it's a bit sort of like, oh, can't be asked.
Yeah.
Do you ever have those days? And if you do, what do you do to get yourself motivated?
I do, and I fill them up with things that I love doing. So photography is one of the things I love doing. There are plenty of other things. Yeah, but I mean, I've got a list of hobbies to the length of my arm. I've always had the mentality that I don't want my life to be work. I don't want to just work. I want to try and set myself up so I'm in a position where I can work as hard as I need to work, and then leave time for family, friends, hobbies, and enjoying myself and doing the other things that I'm passionate about. I'm the kind of person that needs to have my finger in lots of different pies all at once. And so I have those days, and I just try not to overwork myself, and it tends to keep me inspired.
I mean, from listening to what you're saying, to me it sounds like you're really playing for a living.
I mean, in a sense, because it's something that I'm hugely passionate about. But
it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, but I mean, I made the mistake before when I was doing music of overworking myself. And so, although I was very, very passionate about the music, it did get to a point where it was highly pressured. I was overworking myself, and it stopped being enjoyable. So it's just finding that balance between work life and hobbies and play and fun and doing what you love.
So the post-production, do you enjoy doing that?
I love it and hate it at the same time, because it's kind of it's where you start to see an image come to life, which is fantastic, and you might take a photograph and then bring it into Lightroom, and it doesn't necessarily look like anything special, but then suddenly you change the white balance and it shines, and then you can do a few other adjustments and it just starts to come to life. So I love it, but I also have days when my eyes just don't feel calibrated, and I'm looking at the screen and I'm thinking, does that look right? And I don't know, and I have to go away and sleep on it, or go for a coffee break or something, and then come back to it later. So it sometimes is the bane of my life, and other times it's extremely exciting. It just depends on what I'm working on, I suppose, and what frame of mind I'm in.
Absolutely. And I mean, I often find there's pictures that I've taken and I might think, yeah, I love it, and I'll look at it a bit later and I go, But then conversely, there might be some pictures that, you know, I might look at and go, I'm not very happy with those.
That's exactly it, yeah.
You come back, you sleep on it, come back in a day or two.
I mean, it's like I was saying, it certainly does go the other way. I mean, there are images that I've been working on where I've been looking at them thinking, oh, these are great, they're going to be so happy with these. I love the way that I've edited these, and I come back to them the next day and I need to redo them all because my eyes weren't calibrated properly, and the colours were totally off, and I think that's part of developing as a photographer. I'm still in the early days of doing it in a professional context, so it's new to me, relatively speaking.
I think you've got a very bright future with it because you clearly have a talent.
Thank you.
Know what you're
It means
doing.
a lot coming from an experienced photographer like you, obviously.
Very kind, thank you. But no, I really do. I mean, that's what stood out and why I wanted to come and have a chat to you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it.
Thank you. I'd love to come back and talk to you again another time.
Yeah, well, once my career is a bit further down the line.
Yeah, but I mean, you've got such a passion and excitement for photography, but, you know, we kind of have to leave this one off about now.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I would love to come back and talk to you another time about other things about photography, about like what makes you tick, what makes you buzz.
That'd be fantastic. You're always welcome here.
That's Michael, thank you so much.
Thanks very much indeed.
Really appreciate it.
And I'll see you again at some point soon.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Cheers.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel to be notified each time we upload one of our cool photography videos, or for more great photo tips, workshops and training, come and see us at our website, photographycourses.biz.